welcome to Mansion Interviews, a podcast which gives me an excuse to talk to interesting people, while at the same time improving your English. When I saw Bea's website, destinoreinounido.com, I thought, what a wonderful idea. A website in Spanish to help Spanish speakers who want to go to the UK to work, study and live. So I started to look around Bea's site and I found a wealth of information. That means a lot of information on everything from work and job interviews, tourism, accommodation in the UK, and all that important and necessary stuff concerning bureaucracy, red tape, tax, national insurance, health, even what plug, el enchufe, what plug you need in the UK. And I was amazed at how useful and accessible the information is on Bea's site. So I wanted to have a chat with her and introduce you to her and her website, because you too might be thinking of going to live and work in the UK, or you might be already there. So please remember you can improve your listening with comprehension questions and find some help with difficult words from this interview at inglespodcast.com/Bea. So, where are you from originally in Spain?
Madrid.
You grew up in Madrid?
Yeah, I lived there until 2009. Then I moved to Liverpool first. Then I stayed there for a little bit more than 2 years. And I came back to Spain for almost 3 years. And now I'm in London.
Because when I first saw your website, Destino Reino Unido, I thought, what a fantastic idea for a website for Spanish people who want to go to the UK to live or to work or to study. What can you speak a bit about your relationship with the UK? First of all, why go there and not to Ireland or Dublin or the US or even Australia or somewhere?
Well,
why is it because of it's quite close to Spain? Is that why you went?
That was one of the main reasons. Also, I had some friends living in UK before I moved, so that give you like a little help to force you to move. Like I'm not alone. I have my friends there, even if they were in different cities, because I was alone in Liverpool. But one of my best friends was in Manchester, so I knew that if I need someone, it was quite close to me.
Right. And why did you decide on Liverpool first?
I didn't really decide about Liverpool. I went first like an au pair, and I was looking for a family. And this amazing family contacted me and tell me they were looking for an au pair, and they were in Liverpool. And the year before was the cultural city of Europe, and they did a lot.
What were you doing? What were you doing as an au pair? Were you looking after their children or doing the cooking? Or
no, I wasn't caring about the kids. There were 3 kids. One was 13, so nothing to do with him really. But the youngest were 9. They were twins, and because it was just the father, the mother unfortunately died. He needs some help to take care of the kids, and he was a musician, so he has to do a lot of concerts during the night. And of course, you don't want your kids to be alone during the night. If anything happens, it's better to have an adult with them.
Right. Yeah. And how did you feel when you first arrived in Liverpool? Because obviously you'd studied English in Spain before you went.
Yes.
Did you understand everything that people were saying to you when you first
No,
arrived?
nothing at all. And well, you probably know that in Spain, English is not quite good. And my English level was, I'm going to say terrible, to be honest. And also Liverpool accent, for people don't know, is quite difficult. And the Scouse is really, really difficult. And when I got there the first day, it was like, where am I? That's not England.
Scouse is the name of
the accent.
The accent and the dialect in Liverpool. Is it very, very difficult to understand in the beginning?
Yeah, in the beginning, yes, it's terrible. And they also have their own words. So when people were saying the queue or after paying something like ta, and I didn't understand what it was saying. And at the end, of course, I understand that it was thank you. But when you get there and somebody say tahon, what they say? What are they saying?
And they call everybody love, don't they?
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
love,
love,
ta love.
honey, and darling. But when it's darling or love, it's okay. But when they just say hon, that is from honey, it's like what it is. What are they calling me?
How long did it take you, Bea, to start to feel comfortable with the language?
I guess like comfortable, maybe 6 months. Because yeah,
Mhm.
at the beginning you start to talk, and the twins were 9 years old and two, so they were very talkative, and they helped me a lot. And the father also helped me a lot with my English, and I went to English lessons. I did some language exchange also with a girl in university. So yeah, I get step by step, but
Mhm.
comfortable. I guess say after maybe 6 months.
Right. And you spent 2 years in Liverpool and then you went to London, is that right?
No, I moved back
Oh,
to Spain for a while,
okay. Right.
and yeah, I came back to England a year ago.
Right. Why did you go back? I mean, why did you go back to the UK after being in Spain?
To the UK, well, I was working in Spain, and like almost everyone, there were some problems in my job, and at the company closed. So it was
Yeah.
like, what can I do now? And a part of me miss England, and working here is totally different to work in Spain. It's a more competitive market, but it's also growing, and they give you more opportunities. You can grow faster. You can learn a lot. So I thought that maybe I could try to get a nice job here, and I
Mhm.
came. And 2 weeks later, I was working on marketing. So I was really happy.
Fantastic. So now you're working in a job in marketing in London, is that right?
Yes, I'm working on an e-commerce, and I am responsible for the Spanish market.
What differences have you noticed between Liverpool and London?
Everything, but the most is the price. Price. London is so expensive. What I pay for my rent in London is almost 3 months of what I pay in Liverpool. So it's a big difference price. And I must say, people from the north are more friendly than people from the south. I quite find that Scouse people were really nice, really friendly, helpful. They were always with a smile and don't worry. They were trying to understand you and help you more. I guess London is half of the population foreign, so they don't put that much effort than in Liverpool.
Yeah, I agree. I think the north of England is much is that the people are more open and warmer and more friendly. But I think maybe that's the same with every capital city. If you go to Paris or any place, I think because of the tourists, the people are not so friendly. They're not so warm as in the rest of the
Yeah, it
country.
might be.
So tell us about your website, Destino Reino Unido. Why did you start it? And tell us how it can help Spanish speakers who want to go to live in the UK or work in the UK.
Well, I just started it with a friend, and the idea was to help other people because as I say, when I first came, my English was pretty bad, and find information about how to get your national insurance is always in English, so you don't really understand what you need or how you do it, and it's kind of a stressful try to figure out everything when you don't understand the complexity of it, and you are reading everything in English with difficult vocabulary and doesn't make sense at all, and you have to read it again, use the dictionary. So I thought that having a website in Spanish will be more helpful because we have problems with English in Spain. So if the
Yeah.
information is in Spanish, will be helpful. And that's what I miss when I came the first time to England. Even if there were forums, you can read the forums, but they were sometimes not the right thing, or someone said something, the other said the opposite. So you didn't get everything. So in this one, what we are trying is to get all with the links in case they want to read it also in English, and get all the information that we can, as most accurate as we can. Of course, it's a website, it's our website, so no, it's not perfect. I must say that sometimes there might be some little mistakes. If everyone finds something, please contact us and we will change it.
And the one thing I noticed when I looked at the website, there's so much advice and about so many different things on your website, from tax advice for paying tax, renting an apartment, if you want to be self-employed or even find the best telephone company, making friends, the day-to-day life. There's everything there. In fact, when I first saw the website, I think it was today or yesterday, the first post I saw was "Por qué hay dos grifos?" Because
Yes.
the lady who cuts my hair here in Valencia, Chris, she said exactly the same thing to me when she recently came back from Liverpool, because her sister and her brother-in-law now are living in Liverpool, and she said, "I don't understand why they have two taps in the bathroom. It's so strange." So it made me laugh when I saw the post. What other differences come to mind, Bea, when you compare life in Spain with the UK? Obviously, people speak about the weather and the prices, but and when you compare life between the two countries, what comes to mind as being like the main differences between the two countries?
Probably is the social part. Also, Spaniards are quite social. We like to hang out, to have a drink, go out. Here is more difficult. It's more difficult to have friends. It's not impossible, of course, but it's kind of difficult. I don't think the weather is that much problem. Even if today has been raining all day and it's quite great, it's you get used to it. And prices, well, if you live in London, you usually have a better salary, so you can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more that the social and probably not the weather, but the grey. It's quite grey.
Did you have a culture shock when you first arrived, when you first went to Liverpool,
Yes,
because of
I
the
had.
difference in the culture? How did that feel?
Because also I was living with a family, and you have different way of living, and just having dinner at 6 p.m. It was no, this is time for tea, not for dinner. The first week was really stressful and really difficult because you don't speak properly the language and you want to say a lot of things, but you're not able to, and you feel frustrated, and it's difficult. It's everything different, and just going shopping for food shopping. You want to buy something and you don't find it, or you want to cook something and you don't know really how to make it because you don't have the ingredients.
Are you used to British food now, or do you still cook a lot of Spanish food in your apartment?
Kind of both. For example, every time that we can, we do a Sunday roast. So I really like it. And now, yes, but at the beginning, when you came to a British family and you start having the British food, is so different, and you don't know really how to deal with it, because I think I never tried before Indian food until I was living with the family. It's good
Right.
because you try new things, and it's amazing. You become more open mind, but the shock is incredible. And yeah, I talked with all my friends that were au pairs, and we have all the same, because the way we raise children even is different. In Spain, we are just everything about family, family, family. Here, there are not less family, but not like in Spain that everything is family. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I noticed that. Everything's is around the children, around the family. Even when like the children grow up, and they usually in the UK they go to study at university, very often in a different city, and they live by themselves or with other students, other friends. But in Spain, it's very common to stay living with the family even when you go to university.
Yeah.
So there's that tie, that strong bond with the family that continues when the children are in their 20s even.
And even now that I'm living in another country, my mother is always like, "Do you want some jamon? Do you want me to send you some jamon?" So it's gonna be always like that.
One thing that's been very difficult for me here is to change to the Spanish eating times, even like after I've been here 18 years, and I can't eat a lot of food at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Have you changed the times when you have lunch and dinner, or you still eat in Spanish time?
Half. When I was with the family, I changed it, of course, because I had to. I have lunch around 1, so it's okay. But no, I'm not able to have dinner at 6. I'm still not able.
You can't do it.
No, I might do it at 8. That is still earlier for a Spaniard. but 6 is too early for me because it's just when I get home and I want to eat something, but not massively.
Right. About one section of your website that seems extremely useful to my mind is the trabajo section about work. How easy or how difficult is it at the moment to find a job in the UK? And how should a Spanish person start to look for work if they're thinking of going to the UK?
That's an interesting question. Find a job is easy. Then the problem is, what kind of job do you want? Do you want to work like in an hotel? Do you want to work in a restaurant, sales assistant, being an au pair? Being an au pair, if you like kids, please just if you like kids, it's a good way to come and work. But if you want to work on your area, that becomes more difficult. You usually need to speak a good English. Some people believe that just to come into UK, you're gonna work in everything you want. It's not like that. The English market is very, very competitive. There are a lot of positions, and you can get a really good job easily, but you need to work. You really need to work. And I know people that have good jobs in their areas with not really good at living English, but because they were lucky or for this area they don't need it. But you cannot be a nurse if you don't speak English.
Right. Generally speaking, the people that you know who have jobs, did they arrange the jobs before they left Spain, or did they just go to the UK and start looking when they arrived?
Some of them, yeah, but it's not the normal thing. It's more you come here and you find a job.
And what about employment agencies for casual work, like you mentioned, kind of au pair or maybe working in a restaurant or a bar? Are there agencies on your website that people can get in touch with to help them find something?
No, I am not a big fan of agencies. Well, if it's recruiter agencies, yes. But there are some agencies now that they charge you for find you not even a job, just interviews. And I think that's not the right thing. You can do it by your own. If you want, you can do it. And these companies, they just want your money. So
Right.
I don't have agencies like the idea of agency, but yes, you can find a lot of recruiters depending on the area that you're gonna work, because it's not for people who don't know the English market. And the recruiter is the person who is between a company and you, and they are gonna help you to find a job. Of course, they get something for that.
Right.
But they are usually specialized in areas. So, for example, for me, it's in marketing. So I went to a recruiter specialized in marketing, and they helped me to find a job. Also, nurses have another recruiters, architects, but you have to look for the right one. You can't just go to a general one and say, hey, I want a job. No, you have to really focus on what you want and find the right one.
Yeah. So, but you're also saying be very, very careful of some agencies who are taking a lot of commission and charging you for interviews, that sometimes it's not a good idea to use these agencies.
Well, it's not even legal to charge you for take you to an interview.
Sure.
So, yeah, I know that some people pay quite a lot, and it's just for the interview. It's not even for a job, because if you say, well, I'm sure I'm going to be working tomorrow and I really need it because if not, I can pay the rent. Well, we all understand that. But just for taking you to an interview, I don't think it's the right decision. That's my point of view. Maybe other things the opposite, but I don't think it's the right decision.
Bea, if you could give just one piece of advice for a person who's going to the UK, what would it be? The most important thing that you've learned from your experience?
I think the first thing that you have to do is really learn about the country, because there's a lot of people just came here and they don't know anything, and they get surprised about, oh, they are driving on the left. Of course, they're driving on the left. This is the UK. Or the electricity is different. The plugs are different. Yes, they have plugs that they are different. The advice is take your time to think real about it. Do it. Come. If you want to come, just do it. It's amazing. It's an amazing experience. But if you have time and you are not worried, just take your time. Learn a little bit of English, because a lot of people come here and they just don't know even the basics. My English is not perfect. I am still making a lot of mistakes. I have a lot of accent still. But you have to come with something, even if it's just a little bit, like I came, but not with nothing. There are people who don't know anything about English, and they want to find a job. They want to find a nice house. And of course, at the end, they get the scam, because they go to a house and they told him to pay, I don't know, maybe 800 to share in a bedroom. And they do it because they think it's a normal thing. No, please read a lot about. It's not just my website. There are another website you can read. You can go to Facebook. There are a lot of forums and groups of Spaniards in London, Spaniards in Liverpool, etc. So you have to know what you want and try to find a way to get it. And it's not just going to the country. It's to get all the information, know how to do with things, how to deal, know how to find a job, how to open your bank account, and don't pretend that people is going to help you just because you're another Spaniard and we are all really friendly. No, I saw and I read a lot of comments on Facebook like, oh, I don't know any English. Can someone come with me to my national insurance number interview? It's not the right thing to do. You should be able to.
You should know.
Yes, and even there are a lot of translators, and the UK have it. So if you need one, you can ask for one. But don't ask people. The other day I went to the doctor and I was queuing and it was a lady with their kids. They didn't speak English. So at the end I have to wake up and go into the door and ask them, do you need help? Because she needed a doctor for the kid and she wasn't able to.
Was she a Spanish person? She was a Spanish speaker?
From South America. I don't know the country, but she was speaking in Spanish and she wasn't able to get the doctor appointment.
Yeah, it's obviously you have to read a lot before you go. But I think what you said before, I really like that if you're thinking about going to the UK and you're not quite sure, then maybe it's just best to close your eyes and go and jump and go for it and just take the step like you did. And do you agree with that it's a wonderful experience and a wonderful chance, and you should read a lot and get as much information as possible before you go, but you shouldn't hesitate. You should just go ahead and do it.
Every time that someone asks me, should I go? And I always say, yes, do it. It's an amazing experience. That really changed me the first time that I came. I was young, of course, and it was the first time that I was living outside my home, of course, and makes you such a new person. And you're in the UK, you're going to meet people from all around the world. You are going to open your mind. You are going to see that we are more similar than we thought with other people, with other countries. You're going to learn from everything. You're going to learn how to cook, Indian food and things like that. It's amazing. It's really an amazing experience. And you learn even to know yourself better, because when you came here, you have to deal with things like being alone or, the feeling of not being able to speak or understand what they are saying. It's difficult. It's a difficult experience, but it's wonderful.
You grow as a person. Would you agree that you grow and you improve yourself as a person?
You do. I think for me it was the best decision that I take ever.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Bea. So, of course, if you are thinking of going and you want more information, the first place I suggest to go and read about life in the UK is destinoreinounido.com. Bea's site. And Bea, where else can people find you online? Do you have a Facebook page or Twitter account?
Yes, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Google+, and even from the last 2 months we have Instagram. So you can find us almost in every social media.
Okay, I think I said it very badly, so I'm going to say it again. destinoreinounido.com. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Bea, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Bea is looking for new team members to help her with her project. So if you're interested in collaborating with Bea, you can reach her through her website at destinoreinounido.com. Thank you, Bea, for sharing your website and your story with us. And thank you to you for listening to this Mansion interview. You can find more podcasts to improve your English at inglespodcast.com. And you can study English free at mansioningles.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please go and show us some iTunes love by giving us some stars and maybe a short review, because this will mean that more people can find our podcasts.